Yo, what's up guys? My name is Daniel, and today we're going to be talking about the PlayStation 4. So Sony just released their new system software version 4.0, and it includes a lot of changes, some pretty significant ones included, so I wanted to talk about 3 of those with you guys. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right on into it. The first change that I want to talk about with this update, I almost actually didn't include, as it's kind of a weird situation. It's a huge change, it's pretty significant, and it affects all versions of the PS4. Sony has added HDR, also known as High Dynamic Range, support to every PS4. Now, for those that don't know what that is, it just means that you get a wider color gamut. Essentially, you get more colors than a normal TV would output. Now, you do need a supported HDR display, and even then, as of right now, as of the release of this update, there aren't any games that actually support it that I know of. I know that there are games coming within the next couple of months, especially by November 10th, there will be a lot of them. But as of right now, it's actually a feature that you can turn on, but you don't really get a whole lot of use out of. As soon as there's actually a game that I own, at least, that does get an update to support it, I'll go ahead and make a first impressions video. It's going to be very hard to show on screen, but it's at least something I can talk about. But it's a big feature. It's something that is actually, and why I say it was kind of surprising is that it generally, like with the Xbox, for example, the Xbox One S supports HDR, but the regular Xbox One doesn't. And I honestly figured it would be the same thing with this, where the PlayStation 4 Slim and Pro would, but the regular PS4 wouldn't. But they managed to throw it on in there for the regular PlayStation 4s as well, which is just amazing. So it's just a nice feature to see included in this update. The second thing that I want to talk to you guys about today is actually just your game library in general and how you manage it. This for me has actually been one of the biggest issues with the PlayStation 4's system software ever since it was released a few years ago. So there are 2 big changes here. The main one is folders. They finally added the ability for you to put games and applications into folders on your home screen. I don't know why it took them so long. It's been nearly 3 years, and it's been like the most requested feature I've seen. But hey, it's finally here. One quick note, they are not pinnable to your home screen, so they can still get buried behind other applications, but it's still an improvement nonetheless, so I'm very happy that they finally added it. And then the other big change pertains to your library. So currently on the PlayStation 4 system software, anything before 4.0, you had your library, and it just included everything. All of your games, all of your apps, all of your uninstalled stuff, all of the betas that you've used, everything. Well, now all of that stuff resides in the purchased tab, and then they have a separate tab that's just titled Games and Applications, and what this tab is for is showing the stuff that is currently installed on your system. So games and apps that you're currently using or currently have installed, but anything that you remove gets taken out of this list, just so that it's much easier to manage. So the third thing that I want to talk about with you guys today is the user interface when you're in-game. So in the previous versions of the software, anytime that you wanted to, say share something like a screenshot or a video, or if you wanted to pull up the menu to access parties or Spotify or anything like that, you would have to go through a bit of work. It would take you to essentially a separate screen. It very much felt like it was taking you out of the game and into another piece of software, rather than just being an overlay. And with this new change, what they've done is with both the quick menu and the share menu, they have made them smaller. They don't take up the full screen, and so it now feels, as it should really, as just like an overlay. But they've also made a lot of improvements to it. With the share menu, you now have things like it'll save the last social network that you shared anything to. This will help you save time if you want to share something to YouTube multiple times in a row. Then you select YouTube once, and then that's just the most recent one. It's faster to get to than the others because you use it most frequently. And then they also dramatically increased the amount of content you can share to Twitter. Previously it was a 10-second video clip, and now it's 140 seconds. So you can share a lot more. It's actually now useful instead of just being, here's a tiny little clip. So personally for me, that's pretty nice. I don't really share a whole lot on Twitter, but maybe I will now. We'll see. Not really sure. Now, the improvements to the share menu are great, but I mean, honestly, I still know that there's probably not a whole lot of people that actually use the share functionality. Really, where the biggest thing comes into play with the whole UI change is the quick menu. So on top of shrinking the menu, they've added a ton of functionality to it. You can now check the online status of your friends, you can check parties, communities, and more, but also it has direct integration with Spotify if you guys use PlayStation Music. And so what you can do is you can now select playlists, change songs, volumes, and whatnot, all from this menu very quickly and easily. It's just a lot more of a consistent experience. It just overall feels better. And so I really like what they did with this design of this menu. Also, if there's functionality you guys won't use, like say you don't actually use Spotify and you don't listen to music on your PS4, or you don't care about checking communities, well, you can actually go in and select which features you want to be on the quick menu, and you can reorder them so the ones that you need to access the most quickly are right up there available right, first in line. So what I want to know from you guys now is really of all of the features of the PlayStation 4's new system software, and I'll leave a link down in the description that'll give you a full list, but of all of the changes that are in there, what do you guys think you're going to use the most? Like for me, the folders and organization is obviously pretty key, but I mean, if you only play a couple of games, you don't really need it. Whereas like the UI changes, for example, if you listen to Spotify while gaming, that might be pretty big for you. Do you guys have an HDR TV? Because that's something that I really want to see more of, is kind of getting a feel for how important of a feature that is now versus a longevity thing. Leave a comment down below and let me know, you guys. Thank you guys again for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.